Hey, that was Bass Donnie, The Field. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back live, Radio Free Brooklyn. It's your boy Ben Lewis, Addy the Baddie.
Yes, say it again.
My partner in crime,
Hey.
Addy the Baddie.
You say best friend. Say it.
Come on now. Baby steps. All right. Baby steps. Baby steps. All right.
Wow.
Best friend. That's strong. You know what?
This man called me his best friend every other time, but on air. So who's playing themselves?
You got
Me?
receipts? You got any receipts? I don't see no
Wow.
receipts. I'm just saying.
It's okay.
You ready for trending topics?
I am, but I'd rather do it with someone else.
Oh, fair enough.
I'm not your friend.
I'm just gonna
anymore.
get up and go. How about that?
I think that'll be appropriate. We have some other lovely people in the studio today.
Oh wow.
All
right.
Fine, if you must be here.
All right, so we're gonna start with and I just saw we're gonna start off with like a modern day Central Park 5 situation that's kind of going on. We all know the Central Park 5. The movie came out. There's a 4-part series that came out on Netflix last week, I think, or 2 weeks ago,
or like 2 weeks ago. Shit, that should have been part of the shout out.
Yeah, since it came out, it's been the most watched Netflix show.
Yeah. Every single day since it's come out.
Every day. Yeah. And while it is good that we are able to kind of get a proper visual to go along with the story that a lot of us knew already, you pointed this out, and then I also saw someone point this out on social media. We have a sort of a modern situation of this going on right now with the Chanel Lewis rape and murder trial.
Yep.
Now he was sentenced already,
life in prison.
Right? Yeah, he was sentenced to life in prison.
Yeah.
A defense attorney, and this is according to ABC News, a defense attorney for a New York City man facing the rest of his life behind bars for allegedly strangling a woman to death as she was jogging nearby her house are expected to file a motion on Monday to request to investigate allegations from an anonymous letter that suggests details about other possible suspects were withheld. On Thursday evening, after the attorneys in the murder trial of suspect Chanel Lewis both rested their cases, defense lawyer Julia Burke and Robert Moeller returned to their office and found a plain envelope with no return address, said a spokesman from the Legal Aid Society. The envelope contained an anonymous letter from an alleged law enforcement source alerting defense attorneys to alleged exculpatory evidence that the author said had been withheld from the defense. The defense attorney said that the 3-page typed letter pointed attorneys to several meetings among investigators during the first 2 weeks of the probe, during which, according to an unknown author of the letter, NYPD Deputy Chief Michael Kemper stated on several occasions at these meetings, they are looking for 2 jacked up white guys who are from Howard Beach.
Yes. Okay, so I got to just jump in here because Howard Beach, first of all, is notoriously white and not black friendly neighborhood. In fact, when I was in high school, I had a maybe a Sweet 16 to attend. One of my friends had it that was hosted in Howard Beach, and I got an egg actually thrown at the car that I was in. Oh, no. And I was just literally there briefly. It was in and out. Jesus. And of course, and I was like, and I already knew, and I had already heard stories about Howard Beach, so it's certainly not a black friendly place. But Chanel Lewis, he is a autistic young adult man.
Yeah,
who,
definitely not. He's definitely not a jacked up. Yeah, he's not a jacked up white guy. He's definitely not 2 jacked up white guys.
A slender black man who has no history of violence, who I believe has like some type of developmental disorder or autism or something of that nature. He was only known to have a friendly disposition. Has never had any type of situation that even mirrors this tragedy. Yeah. And rest in peace to the woman who was strangled and murdered, because she deserves justice. But I don't believe that what we see here is that. And I feel like, the another thing that was in this case that was interesting in what is it 2019
yes.
is that he had an entire jury of white men.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a black man who's being accused of this heinous crime in the most racist neighborhood in Queens. And he had a whole jury of white people. So once again, as we were speaking earlier about just who mental illness or who mental disorders belong to and who gets to take ownership of that, this is a man who actually has a documented IEP. This is a man who literally lives and is under the guidance of his mother because he cannot take care of himself.
He can't be on his own, right?
Independent. And so even if, let's say he did it. Why can't he plead insanity?
Right, exactly.
You know, like, why is that not even on the table? But they're putting this man to jail for life. So either way, even if they were to find that this man did it, which I do not believe at all, and based on the evidence that we all see, doesn't make any sense. Like, where is the justice here? So I'm just really upset about that. And I feel like there's stuff that we can do. I feel like, you know, everybody's upset about Central Park 5. We're sitting there sensationalizing the story because now the boys are free and they're all adults. And we're like, man, they've like lost so much of their life. And this man is about to experience the same thing. And I feel like we need to really come together to do something about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, we're sensationalizing the story of the Central Park 5. And, you know, it's messed up what they went through. But we know what came out of it. We know what was on the other end of the tunnel for them. And they're out. They got like some big settlements. They got a little bit of something in order for them to get some semblance of a normal life together, as much as they possibly can, having enduring all of that mentally. But we need to turn our attention to this situation, because we can't let another black man, let alone one with special needs, go down for a rape and murder that I don't think he committed.
Yeah. And I feel like from when I saw the story, I'm like, it's some bullshit. Apparently, Chanel Lewis, the young man who they're accusing of this crime, he would frequent Howard Beach, walk around the park, and like when his mom was not home, he would just kind of walk and play around there, and that was like his outlet. So all of a sudden, on a random day, it wasn't like he just happened upon this neighborhood. Like, this is a place that he frequents often, just to hang out, to have a good time. Like, I don't believe that this man just went ahead and strangled. Like, you have to think about it. I watch so many freaking SVU. See, it's like there's literally patterns of behavior that one can detect to give you an idea of the type of profile that would lead somebody to strangle. Because when you strangle someone, it's personal. When you strangle and you rape someone and murder them, that's not an accident. That's not something that you just fucking do because you just had a bad day. And especially not something that you just do when you have absolutely no instance or history of violence. That's just not true. And it's crazy to me that there's not enough media attention to this. And it's crazy because, of course, the media is saturated with a bunch of distractors. So it's hard to ever like get focused on one thing. But like, this is some bullshit.
Absolutely.
Some bullshit.
Straight up. What else we got, Addy?
Oh, we got something else that's some bullshit.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Linda Fairstein decided that she was going to respond to Ava DuVernay's beautiful masterpiece, When They See Us. The former sex crimes prosecutor who oversaw the Central Park 5 case in 1990, during which 5 teenage boys of color were convicted as accomplices in the beating and rape of a jogger in Central Park. In 2002, the charges were vacated after another man confessed to the rape. Despite scrutiny of the way protesters handled the case, Fairstein has consistently maintained that the state acted in an upright manner, saying the teens' original confessions were not coerced. And now in a new op-ed, she has decried When They See Us as a defamatory fabrication. In the Wall Street Journal, Fairstein writes, Ava DuVernay's miniseries wrongly portrays them as totally innocent and defames me in the process. Matthias Reyes' confession to the rape in 2002 has led some of these reporters and filmmakers to assume the prosecution had no basis on which to charge the 5 suspects in 1989. So it is with filmmaker Ava DuVernay in the Netflix miniseries When They See Us, a series so full of distortions and falsehoods as to be an outright fabrication. Man.
First of all, your face is a fabrication, bitch. Second of all, so is your hair. So is your whole life and your whole career. Because you basically built your whole existence off of a lie. You went so hard at these black men because you wanted to build a career. And that's the problem when politics are involved in injustice. Yep. And when people want to get famous off of on the backs of black people. She
saw this as her moment.
Absolutely.
She's like, yo, a rape in the biggest park in New York City. If I can find the person who did this and convict them, I would be looked at as a hero. And she used the conviction from this case to kind of catapult her career into books, into novels, into being on several boards, into
positions,
being looked at as a heroine for women victims of domestic abuse and victims of rape. And while those causes are good, you did it off the backs of 5 poor black and people. It was 2 of them were Hispanic too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you did it on the backs of these innocent, like, young boys. You ruined their lives.
You literally did. And I just want to, like, one time for white privilege, because all of this shit happened before the movie. It's not like this was a revelation to any of the people that she worked with.
Exactly.
This wasn't like you fucking Google her, you will find that. But guess what? White people get to determine what they deem to be legitimate acts and transgressions against people that they care about and people that they don't care about. They get to decide what that looks like. And when you live in a world where, unfortunately, they don't tend to care about black and brown folks, you get things like this where it's not until there's a freaking public backlash, it's not until, their reputation of their brand is on the line, because, nobody wants to be called racist. Everyone's gonna be it. But nobody wants to be called it.
Exactly.
So once that's the only reason why these places are dropping her. This was all public knowledge. And I just couldn't imagine, like, me, fucking butchering a case this badly as a black person and getting any type of work, let alone a book deal, let alone millions of dollars, let alone being a member of a board and all this stuff. Like, come on, man. But I love though, one good thing that came out of this is that one of the best things I think can happen to people, or one of the worst things that can happen to someone, is when they have everything and it gets taken away from them. Yeah. And of course, she's white and has money and she'll be fine. But just like everything you built in terms of who you thought you were, you're not that bitch. And that's enough. And guess what? If you had any type of legitimate case against Ava DuVernay, you would have sued. Yeah. You have enough money, you have enough resources. So if she was actually lying to any significant degree, and I'm sure she dotted her I's and crossed her T's.
A woman of color in power in Hollywood, making all these feature films. Okay, you don't think that she did her due diligence to make sure everything she was saying and putting on that screen was factual?
Okay, please come with the lawsuit or leave me the fuck alone and mind you. And Wall Street Journal, how dare you? Give that bitch a forum.
Come on, they got to sell papers. They do. I guess if they put, hey, we got another racist column in here. That's true. They'll sell some papers.
But fuck y'all anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, I'm just gonna breeze through these next two things. Alabama law can make it so that you can castrate sex offenders, which is obviously a slippery slope. And they're making it so that at a certain level of a sex offender, they're gonna make it so that they can chemically castrate you. God. And we know, and this is fucking Alabama.
Can't do nothing in Alabama.
Right. What are the top 5 havens of slavery, and one of the states where they're still nostalgic about the Confederate flag, and they love when black people did as they were told. They miss those days.
The good old days.
The good old days. So I don't think that this is the best state for this to be launched in. I don't think that this is a great idea at all. Because we look at all we've talked about is all these wrongful convictions against black men. There's so many black men in prison right now that are filling private prisons, literally just continuing slavery so that white people can make a lot of money. And they will be a part of this, trust me. Because they will not be testing this on your, creepy rich Billy Bob who touches little girls.
Go get some poor folk.
They're gonna find and round up anybody that they can push anything on and pit anything on, and the justice will not be applied to you.
They just gonna be out here castrating niggas.
Period.
Craziness. So Hands Up Act would punish police for shooting unarmed citizens. That is, why is this taking so long to become a thing?
I don't know.
Like how many years?
It's not even a thing yet. It's literally not a thing. Proposal at the moment.
That probably won't get passed.
No.
But how many victims do we need to see? How many innocent people need to die for someone to sit up and say, you know what, maybe we should probably do something to these police officers that are shooting unarmed citizens who are complying with their every instruction. Put your hands up, lay on the ground. Like, there's literally footage of people doing exactly what they're told by the police and still getting either their ass whooped or worse, killed.
Well, here we are. Here's America.
This is America. So that's a Grammy Award-winning song, too.
Right? We will stay tuned, and hopefully we can look forward to some good news on that.
Yes.
But I'm going to move on because, man, damn, fuck, white people.
I know, right?
Y'all are wilding in every, locally, globally, nationally.
All over the goddamn place.
Okay. All right. So I'm exhausted. This shit makes me exhausted. But basically, here's what's happening, y'all.
Yes.
Black businesses, and not only black businesses, but Black-friendly businesses even are included in this that serve and that service Black and brown guests and patrons. They're being shut down and strategically shut down, systematically shut down.
Yep.
By gentrification. By your local
colonization.
By your
Say
local
it like
white,
it is.
By your local white Susan who feels uncomfortable because of the noise that's happening outside of the home outside of the home in the neighborhood where she had no business being in the first damn place.
That's why I had a Lyft driver named Susan the other day.
Look,
she was scared shitless when I was in the back of that car. I tell you, listen,
I clutch my purse around white people.
Yo,
I don't trust
when
them.
I tell you, I was sitting in the back of her car, and I noticed that the rearview mirror, right? I couldn't see myself in the rearview mirror when I first got in the car, but she in the time of me looking down and looking out the window, I look back up. The rearview mirror is now adjusted. So she and I can lock eyes if we both look at the rearview mirror at the same time. After her failed attempts of small talk, because anyone who knows me knows I hate that shit. I don't want to talk about the weather. I don't want to talk about how nice it is today.
Listen, Susan.
I don't want to talk about the day that you just had. Shut the hell up and take me to the goddamn train.
Okay, look.
But yeah, she was terrified.
Yeah, no, look.
Shout out to Susan.
But
anyway, they're shutting down our businesses.
Yeah, exactly. And I have no problem with the white people who mind their fucking business. Like, live your life. I don't care where you live. Live wherever the fuck you want to live. You guys have the fucking problem with where we live.
Yeah, come by.
I have a problem with how you fucking move when you come into Black and brown neighborhoods. You like to call the shots. And let me just read this because I had to really kind of go off. So over the past several years, the New York State Liquor Authority has been coming down hard on Black-owned and Black-friendly venues in Brooklyn that attract, you guessed it, Black patrons. Why? Well, because many of our local, swear to God, I'm not racist, I voted for Obama, white gentrifiers have decided that occupancy isn't enough. Their visions of moving into a Black neighborhood absolutely didn't include, you guessed it, Black people, and it especially didn't include any unapproved, unsanctioned versions of Black joy, particularly clubs, bars, and lounges. First event, so I'm throwing an event, basically bringing attention to this. So this is coming in 2 weeks, and I am actually going to be hosting it at Ota Babel, which is a Black-owned bar and lounge.
That's right.
In Fort Greene. That was actually founded by 2 Black women.
Addy, don't get shut down while you're out there.
And basically, it's a way to really, it serves 2 purposes. It's for my brand called Party Blackly, where we basically are a media and event platform that builds capacity for Black and brown musicians, creators, and communities. And so we're going to basically be serving 2 purposes with this event. I'm tired of hearing the same shit when I go out to parties. Who else is tired of hearing the same shit? All right, cool. So there's a lot of underground artists, and like me and Ben, like we only listen to like people that we know. Like, there's a lot of great music. I mean, of course I listen to mainstream stuff too, but there's just like a lot of better, like much better music to be honest. From people,
more stuff. I find
Mm-hmm.
there's more substance, and I found that listening to underground artists, you find more stuff that you could relate to.
Of course.
Because they're still in the thralls of the struggles,
they still in the
and
struggle,
trying to make it. So when you hear their music, you hear their lyrics, the good ones, I should say.
So here's what we're doing. We're gonna be spinning music from up and coming Black and brown creators and artists in our DJ rotation. So shout out to Skills and Vita, who's gonna be the DJs holding it down for the night. And on top of that, we're bringing in members of the community board, the local community board of Bed-Stuy, Fort Greene area, to come in and share with all the guests and attendees what they can be doing to be supporting these efforts around pushing of maintaining actually and keeping Black and brown businesses in the community. Not only Black businesses and brown businesses, but businesses that attract Black crowds, because there's a lot of businesses and venues that don't mind having Black people there, and there may be white owners, there may be Asian owners, and they just happen to actively be anti-racist, or at least not afraid of Black dollars, and so they create space for Black people. And there's a lot of businesses that don't, so you can always tell the difference. So shout out to y'all too, because I'm also going to be doing this series across different bars just like that, because they're also being threatened. So here are some of the bars that are being affected. We have Ota Babel. They had their liquor license taken away, and it was because 180 Black and brown people from the community showed up to the community board hearing and got that reversed, that they were able to keep their license. And that's the power of community. So what I'm doing is bringing people together so that we know where to be, how to show up, And I'm going to be putting those resources on my website so people can know where to go for that. Also, I want to shout out, we have Cafe Arzuli. I don't know if you've ever been to Cafe Arzuli. It's a dope ass, beautiful venue right on the border of Broadway. Sorry, right on the border of Bed-Stuy and Bushwick. They sell flowers, food, tea, all that. And they have the best functions. Like, it's always lit. And of course, you guessed it, noise complaints and these random raids.
This one hurt.
These random raids that the New York State Liquor Authority decides to randomly raid this place and shut it down. They no longer have their liquor license. Woodland, Woodland,
I can't take it.
Brooklyn, which is
my God.
Woodland. If you know Woodland, and if you really from Brooklyn, you know what Woodland is. That is where the black millennials who have enough money to buy brunch.
The only place
which
you
is
could
expensive.
Go. The only place you could go where you can have chicken and waffles in one hand and a handful of booty meat
in the other. Period. Like, it is the littest
one of the
brunch.
only
Like,
places.
You see, here's my thing. I personally prefer a nice little. I really be getting down on my food, so I don't really need all that. But on occasion, I go there and I turn the fuck up, and it's lit. And everybody
twerk on me, knock my food out my hand. Okay,
exactly.
I don't give a damn.
There's never any fights at Woodland. People literally go there to turn up. You never heard of nothing crazy going down except maybe
their
an
liquor
ass
license
cheek,
being taken
maybe
away.
Maybe an ass cheek falling out of a short. That is the only thing. And I don't see no crime in that.
That ain't nothing crazy to me.
Okay.
To me, that's a prayer.
I think so.
Okay,
so they guilty of nothing but booty and good. Oh, and their food is fucking fire. You wouldn't even know how fire their food is based on the way them asses is shaking.
The food could have been horrible. All right,
the food is delicious. It's so good. And they took their liquor license away, or they filed it. I think they filed a motion to take their liquor license away. They're still in the process of fighting for keeping that. So that's another venue that we need to really mobilize around. So we're going to be collecting these resources. We all go out to turn up, and these places, they don't want us to have these spaces anymore. Because guess what? When we don't have spaces to go to, when we don't have spaces, we're going to leave the neighborhood. And that is the goal. We need to be really thinking strategically. We can't be sitting here talking and being like, oh man, and sitting back and allowing shit to happen to us. Like, when there's numbers and there's attention on the issue, things happen. They're relying on the fact that black people don't show up to community board meetings. They're relying on the fact that we, many of us would prefer to just be Instagram activists. So, like, let's figure out what we can do. Whatever we can do, whether it's financial, whether it's showing up. Like, there's so much that we can do to support each other. So that's all I have to say. Come to the event. The event is Thursday, June 27th at 6 p.m. Okay, it's at Old Tababo at Fort Greene. So you can take you can take the C train to Clinton Hill. Walk like five minutes, all right? And it's gonna be lit, all right? It's gonna be real lit. So make sure you come. Tickets are free. Tickets are gonna be released tonight. So you can go to my page, Party Blackly. Okay, make sure you get those tickets. We asking for our donation. So I'm doing all of this out of pocket. So I would like to continue to fund this and continue to keep it going. And I'm splitting all the proceeds with any venue that I collaborate with. All of the money from the bar goes directly to them. I want to infuse these businesses with the money that they lost, because anytime you shut down a bar for a day, anytime you shut down a business like that for even one day, all them dollars, all that revenue goes away, and it's really hard to get back. So we want to make sure that they get that money. So make sure you buy the drinks. Our special of the night is Black Joy. So make sure you drink up some Black Joy, because they don't want us to have it.
I'm sorry, the man in me won't allow me to drink anything named Black Joy. All right, that's a weird name. Black Joy. I'll pass. All right.
You are so childish.
Black Joy.
We sitting here talking about something. Wow, you are ghetto.
I'm not gonna be drinking. Well, I look like solid, y'all. I had that Black Joy last night. That joint had me feeling good,
sir. Sir. Nobody asked you to put it like that.
Anywho,
you might have to go there.
Yo. Listen, I want to next up shut it topics. We got to get into this Robert Dinero situation. Okay, first of all, Grace Hightower, which is his estranged wife. The first mistake you made was not marrying a faithful, God-fearing, Bible-reading black man. Okay, you found yourself in bed with an actor, albeit a great actor. I enjoy Robert Dinero films very much.
Oh boy,
but the reason that all this is happening now, the relationship breaking down, is because you weren't with a faithful black man. I hope you learned your lesson, Miss Grace Hightower.
All right, let's get on to the point.
With that being said, she wants half my man's money. Talking about he was worth $500 million. Robert De Niro ain't worth no $500 million.
So
I hope not, because then she gonna get 250 for nothing.
Why you hating though?
I'm just saying, man. These guys out here, like we put up with a lot to be with y'all women. You know what I'm saying? Like we make so many sacrifices for y'all. We go and work, slave. You know how many horrible movies Robert Dinero did so that she could have food on her table? And
please don't include all men in the same sentence as Robert De Niro.
Now, okay,
I don't believe that's accurate.
Robert De Niro represents every man.
I don't think so at all.
Is working a great paying job. He represents every man
where are they?
That's doing double shifts at Walmart to put food on the table and calm your angry ass down with French fries and chicken tenders. All right,
sir.
Listen,
come correct.
Listen, Robert De Niro is about to get robbed.
All right,
for half of his earnings.
So whenever you're done rambling,
she wasn't with him shooting in the gym. That's all I'm saying. Okay,
right. So
I didn't see Grace Hightower in none of the movies that Robert De Niro was.
So here's the deal: when she was sucking his royal penis, giving him that black good, that fountain of youth, and shit that was giving him the inspiration to create shit. You know, that cost a lot of money. So first of all, she deserves. Now I don't know. Look, hold up. Let me finish. Look, my thing about marriages and such, like, and you know, as a successful young black queen myself, who believes in some level of equity, as long as it's in favor of women, I would say that, you know, prenups are important, especially when you have money.
Yep.
For both parties, because I feel like there should be some level of fairness that is talked about and discussed prior to a marriage, so that both parties are on the same page about what needs to happen in order to make that marriage work, and what will happen at the dissolution of that marriage. And those terms should be discussed prior to that marriage. And I don't believe that should look like, if I come into a marriage, for example, because, you know, I'm making that money with a bunch of bread, that, you know, whoever the person that I'm with deserves half of it. I don't believe that is necessarily a fair amount. But I do believe that if we are in some type of arrangement where we have discussed that you are gonna not work because I'm the breadwinner, and this is the lifestyle that you are going to come into, and this is what, and I said, hold on.
No, I'm asking you a question.
Hold on.
Because
if that was the arrangement, I'm talking about whatever the arrangement is in the terms of the prenup.
Okay.
Whatever the arrangement is in the terms of the prenup, that stop interrupting me. So whatever the arrangements are in the term of the prenup, we should make allocations for that, so that if you promise me a lifestyle, when you say till death do us part, right? And if that's what we both agree, then that's a lifestyle I then I signed into a contract. That's a contract, expecting that this is the lifestyle I'm going to live. And therefore, whoever that partner is that made those promises or such promises is liable to making sure that person maintains that lifestyle. Now, that lifestyle doesn't mean that person deserves half. That lifestyle means that lifestyle. Now, we know that rich people, even though they have tons of millions of dollars, doesn't mean that they spend tons of $1 million a year. Right. Now, what her current arrangement is, from based on what I read, is that she received $500,000 in cash. She received $1 million a month.
And a crib.
And she received the $6 million house.
$6 million
now,
crib.
For me, I'm good. You ain't gonna hear shit from me. Like, I don't care what you did to me, we gooch. Cause like, I think I could live off of that. I think I'll be fine. I think $1 million a year is good for me. But for Grace Hightower, I don't know what her lifestyle looked like or added up to. And if the paperwork of her lifestyle or whatever that is adds up to more per month than what was discussed, or then what is the settlement allotted for, then she can push for more. Now, do I believe that it is half? I don't think so. And do I believe that she deserves half? No. But I do believe that there is a number that I think that we could both, they could all walk away from. Do I think half is a little greedy, pushing it? Yes, I do. So
the number that they should agree on is whatever the hell he see fit to give her.
Absolutely
all
not.
Right?
No, he gave away his rights when he decided to get married to her and tell her that she was going to be good forever. So that's him. That was his lack of foresight.
He had his fingers crossed while he was saying
Look, he got that. Once you go black, shit, what was he supposed to do?
I don't blame you, brother. Okay.
What's he supposed to do?
I done took a swim in that ocean too.
All that ass brother. Coming back at him. What he supposed to do? All right. But catch it.
Listen,
he probably signed that shit while
you want the black card, baby? Take the black card. Like, there you go. Hey, Robert, I don't blame you, brother. I don't blame you. All right. The intoxicating ocean that is black women.
Okay.
I have swam in it.
All right. Nobody asked about you.
I'm still in it. Okay.
Nobody wants to hear about the oceans you've traveled in. So anyway.
All right, fine.
Unless you're drowning, we don't want to know.
mean, I can't swim, so. Oh man. All right. Is that real?
Yo. Oh yes. New York proposes a bill to legalize prostitution.
Damn, it's a wrap for free pussy, fellas. It's a
I'm just
wrap.
gonna speak about this briefly. How much time do we have left in this section?
Not much.
Okay, cool.
Like
so
2 minutes.
I'm gonna run through this one. This basically, I don't know if you guys know. I wouldn't know, but maybe Ben would know about this. But Backpage closed down, and Backpage was the little creepy site that young men and old men like Ben would go on to find some young flexes because they can't usually pull girls on their own. But anyway, no, real talk. Like this was the source of income for a lot of sex workers who rely on this to have a safe space and a safe way to get partners and whatnot so that they can live the life that they live. That's not my life. I don't judge that. Like, shit, do what you got to do. If niggas want to pay for it, pop that pussy. Now, as far as since Backpage has disbanded, a lot of these women have been displaced. They've been going to strip clubs trying to find work, and niggas ain't having it. Like, strip clubs have changed. They only want a very certain type of look. Things have become very different, especially in this age of Instagram. Nobody wants to come down and see somebody who look average. Like, so for all the average and below average looking women, shit is hard. So I think this bill would be very helpful. I think this bill would be helpful for people who have lost the ability to make an income. And I'm here for it, So that's my opinion on it.
My only thing is that you legalize a product that every woman has. Listen, the days of mediocre dates and hoping that it ends up in something is over. It's all gone. They legalized this.
Pay up.
Yeah, technically, once it's legal, right? Technically, you can hit up a girl and she could be like, look, I don't want to go on no shitty date with you. Just give me $150. We're going to get to do it. We get to whatever it is that you're trying to do, and then we be gone with each other. No more free pussy, fellas. It's over. Can we protest this? Is there a way I could get my brothers together?
I'm just very upset that the generation before us tried to convince us that prostitution was a crime. Like, it's literally just so based in misogyny, it's not even funny. Like, literally something that it's your body. You can literally pop your pussy anywhere. And we're being told that it's a crime and that women can go to prison for it. Niggas pay for it. Like, what is that? So, anyway.
I mean, anyways, it's not a problem for me because, black men don't cheat. So,
right. But speaking of like this pervasive slut shaming, this pervasive like body shaming of women, Meg Thee Stallion, she was recently on Hot 97 and she basically was talking about how she only sleeps with her exes to keep her body count down. And this whole concept of body count, this whole concept of like these things that are just associated that women are so attached to because of how we've been conditioned and indoctrinated into the patriarchy. It's sad. It's sad. And I don't think her opinion is invalid or sad at all because these are the things that I've had too, that I've thought about, that I've struggled with growing up, because basically everyone around you slut shames you, your parents, like before you even have sex. Like they basically threaten you into thinking that if you have any type of sexual desires, you're a whore. And this kind of virgin whore complex that women have to grapple with before they even know who they are, before they even know their bodies, is really problematic. But basically, this whole idea of like keeping her body count down is just like you're literally policing your body because of this larger concept. Now, if it's something that you want to do because you really actually genuinely care about it, then I don't think you would be using words like body count, because that's not a word that you can't, that's not even your language. That's something that's culturally pervasive way to keep women in control. So Megan, just like pop that pussy however you feel. Like, and you have tons of niggas, so if you want to move on, feel free. But I understand her point though about like meeting a new nigga is the worst. Like, they just be disappointing you in surprising ways. Sometimes you just want to stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. Because sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I wonder how these she said even if they're in a new relationship.
Yeah.
I wonder how, I mean, if that's the case, that doesn't make sense to me, because like, why even break up if y'all just gonna, because you could easily fuck your way back into a relationship. I always feel. So that's why you probably, that's just my opinion. You don't want to go back and mess with someone that y'all, there's a reason y'all broke up. But
I never go back.
I mean, shit, if my ex was Meg Thee Stallions.
Oh, that's true. I'd go back.
I'm picking up that phone.
Oh, hell yeah. Can you imagine?
Hello? Baby, shut up. Meg's on the phone. You know? Like, shit.
If you are Megan Thee Stallion's ex and you listening right now, please call. Please call in. Like, I would be a proud ex of Megan Thee Stallion.
So you the one that want to pull up on Meg Thee Stallion because she's sleeping with your man.
No. Look, I'd be like, girl, take him. Let's take me too. I'm gonna put on my LinkedIn, Meg Thee Stallions X. That's my new claim to fame. Anyway, we are going to head into our break.
Yes.
And when we come back, are we heading into our
blow the whistle section? Yes, we are.
Holla back.
Yes. You're listening to Ben Talks right here live on Radio Free Brooklyn. Do not go anywhere. We will be right back.
Deuces.